If your day is not structured, your income never will be. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the daily routines that help fuel $10,000 a month and more agents and how exactly you can implement these systems towards your insurance business as well. Now, the first and foremost, we want to get into why exactly so many of those insurance agents fail. And a lot of times it's because there's no rhythm, there's no system in place, and there's no momentum that's catapulting from week to week or even on a day-to-day basis. They come in and they're maybe frustrated they didn't get a deal from the night before, or maybe they're going into it, they're not really sure where their deals are going to come from, and that just inconsistency a lot of times can be the result of doom, and better yet, a result from a lost income. The way we solve this and the way we kind of go about doing this is I would always tell my agents, and I would always implement this myself as well, that's how I actually figured this system out, is that we want to work in 4-hour windows of just income producing activities. So again, I've mentioned this in my previous videos before, but an income producing activity or activities that are actually gearing you towards making additional income. It sounds pretty obvious, right? Or producing you income. So if you're listening to music, watching videos, going to the gym, going to lunch, these are not things that are actively producing you income with the time that you're pouring into it. And so the first thing that you want to do is you want to categorize your day as far as what times do you normally get up, what times do you normally end your day, and what times do you normally take breaks. So that's the first thing that you want to do and put in place. The next thing you want to do is you want to identify, if I were to do these in 4-hour windows, how exactly would this look to make sure that I'm maximizing my effort? Because once this is locked in, you're not changing this from day to day, you're not changing this from week to week, and you're not changing this from month to month. This is your system, and this is part of how you're going to help close and set consistent appointments and deals. Okay, so how I like to categorize it is, first and foremost, let's say you come in and you start your day at, let's say, 7 a.m. Okay, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. is going to be your first block of the day, and that's going to be spent on prospecting. Why is that the case? Because a lot of times people are going to work, people are driving elsewhere to do their errands for the day, and so they're not necessarily in a buying mode. You'll catch people on their day off sometimes, but primarily you want to spend a lot of the morning time to set appointments for later that day or the following day if they're not available. The next thing that you want to do is in that afternoon period. So now you've worked from 7 to 11. If you want to take a small 20-30 minute break, you're more than welcome to, but by this point, you want to reset yourself and now gear yourself towards your follow-ups. So why is this important? Because the follow-ups here are for all of the leads that you have either contacted, reached out to, maybe quoted, maybe missed an appointment with, that you can now reach out to, calling, texting, getting back to those responses to see if you can re-engage that lead. So the afternoon time, so once you work those 4-hour blocks, you want to obviously set an appointment goal for the day. Usually it's 3 appointments that you want to achieve during the prospecting block. The afternoon, you want to spend through all of those warm leads that you had some level of contact with. You want to reach out to them to either qualify them and set an appointment or disqualify them. And a lot of your time in this window, so this is going to be the 12 to 4 window, is going to be spent following up with these leads. Now, if you don't have leads that are worth following up with, then this is a period of time where you would consistently continue to work on prospecting and hit that 3 appointment a day goal. That's what you're trying to do here. So the evening time is where you're going to spend a lot of your time at this point for the appointments, because usually when you're talking to people in the day and you're qualifying them, disqualifying them, they're not going to have time until after they're off of work or later in the evening once their schedule has mellowed out or at least slowed down at that point. So anything after 5 p.m. is strictly just appointment time. You never want to book stuff in the middle of the day when you're not going to catch up to your follow-ups. That's where a lot of people, especially struggling agents, really miss out on opportunities here, because they're looking at it where if I can just get the call at any point in time, then I'll be happy to get the sale. And that's just going to throw your whole momentum off. You'll be closing deals at all times of day, which is obviously a good thing because you're closing deals, but now it's inconsistent because you're not building that pipeline and you're not building that momentum for the next day, the next week, the next month, right? So you kind of want to always keep this pattern and consistency going when it comes to these blocks, because just because you close the deal that day or that week, or just because you close a couple, does not mean it's going to be duplicatable for weeks to come. And that's where a lot of people would have peaks within their insurance career because they did really well and they, maybe scheduled up all the appointments at whatever the client wanted. They had a really good week because their pipeline bursted, but then that next week, because they had all those appointments, they weren't able to build onto that pipeline. So the next week, everything is dry, right? I've seen it thousands of times in the business, and this is how you can prevent that. It's just setting your appointment time for the evening, follow-up times for the afternoon, and morning times is spent prospecting. Remember, trying to hit that 3 appointment a week goal. Now, obviously, this comes to no surprise, but you want to cut out all of the non-IPAs within these blocks. So anything that you need to do, like customer service, admin work, scripts, if you're watching YouTube during these times, if you're listening to music, things that are distracting you from prospecting or follow-ups, eliminate these things, because these, again, when your attention is dedicated to 2 different things, whether it's you're consciously listening to the music or the YouTube video or not, you still want to make sure that you understand that you're subconsciously going towards that thing as well, versus if you're just locked in on exactly what you should be doing. So going in every day, 3 appointments a day, working in those time blocks, because again, if your time is focused on both the IPAs and the non-IPAs within these blocks, then it's not locking in or that hard focus work that you know that you should be doing. So focused work, locked in IPAs, whatever you want to refer to them as, 4-hour blocks is how you should be operating in. Because again, at the end of the day, when it comes to your business, you can feel as if, oh, I need to get a deal right now, I need to get a deal right now, or I need to get this appointment right now. But if everything, like I mentioned, is all sporadic, your emotion is going to outweigh your structure. And again, at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to have structure that's going to outweigh every missed appointment. It's going to outweigh every person that doesn't want to book a call with you yet, every person that maybe doesn't want to buy the policy right then and there and maybe needs to look one line over. It's going to overlook all those things, because the structure of you duplicating this over and over and over and over and over again becomes routine. It becomes a habit. It becomes how you operate when you are running your insurance business. And last but not least, your discipline. So it's easy to do this 1 week. It's easy to do this 2 weeks, but just knowing that even in the slow weeks that you're going to follow this, that's the hardest part, really, is when sometimes you don't see the results that you really had hoped for, and you're coming in and you're doing these, scheduled assignments where you're working in these blocks and you're understanding, okay, well, he's telling me to do it, it's not working, and I'm not generating the momentum that I should, and I'm not feeling as motivated as I once was when this was working. And understanding that, especially if you're not collecting residual income yet, which if you're struggling to make $10K a month, it's going to be very difficult for you unless you're retired to be clearing anything worth relevance in the residual game. And so really for you, the discipline aspect of committing to this schedule is going to far outweigh a lot of the motivational aspects that come with it. And within our program, what we help do for you is we help install this routine into your calendar, so hitting these $10,000 a month become very predictable for you guys. That's what I have for you guys right now. If you guys like these type of videos, if you like the inside scoop of exactly how the engine of our system works, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you guys very soon.